إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. I bear witness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one worthy of worship and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the final and the seal of the messengers عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام على آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Amma ba'd, dear viewers, we are again with you in your program Islam and Life. And in this program, hopefully this will be the last of 4 sessions that we started to share some information with you about the aqidah of the people of the 12 Imam Shia, because it is very important for us to understand the situations that are taking place in the Middle East especially, and the fact that there is so much turmoil and there's a lot of people who are fighting among each other. And to whose benefit is that? People are dying, countries are being distorted and disturbed. And because of that, it is really very important that we understand what is really the best for that part of the world. The best thing is really for people to just live and coexist with each other instead of fighting among each other. And that brings us to, again, why we are talking about this issue of the 12 Imam Shia. As we understand, the issue of Shi'ism has started basically at the time when, or the present groups at least, that we are talking about, they have started at the time of the death of the Al-Imam Al-Hasan Al-Askari, even though the initial statements happened at the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib, from a man called Abdullah ibn Saba, who, as we understand, and even as the books of the 12 Imam Shi'i madhab, their books state that this was the first person to call upon Ali ibn Abi Talib that he is the deputy of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was the deputies of this person who started to swear at Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu and Umar and the rest of the Sahaba. So basically, it's a destructive movement as it started. Now, if we look at, we will look at some of the history of, a quick history, like for the past 14 years in the Islamic world, and what has happened, and when these groups came, and how it erupted, and how they controlled certain parts of the Islamic world. And then hopefully we come to a closure where we could all agree that we really need to do something about this, something constructive that we can bring people back to their senses and make sure that the situation calms down instead of erupting more. For many of you who do not know, Iran, for example, has not been a Shia country throughout its existence. As a matter of fact, Shi'ism started in Iran only in the 4th century of Hijrah. So for the first 300 years, Iran used to be a Sunni country. And if we look at the history, the first tashayyu', or the first acceptance of this madhab of the 12 Imam Shi'i, started at the year 260 by a group of people in Iran, or the tribe of Bani Saman, or Samaniyun. So in there, they were some kind of people who had some kind of leadership in a lot of the lands of Iran, and some of the da'wah of the 12 Imam Shi'i came to them. So some of them started to accept that da'wah, and in the early 4th century of Hijrah, many of them became Shia, and their rule continued until the year 389. So the summary of this is that Iran did not start as a Shia country. Iran was a Sunni country up to the end of the first 3 centuries of Islam, until the year 300. And that is in the early 4th century, Iran started to turn into Shia, partly, not fully. And then there was another group in Al-Iraq who are from the tribe of Bani Taghlib, Bani Hamdan. They also received some of the da'wah of the 12 Imam Shi'i, and they have accepted it, and in the year 317 they were ruling Al-Mosul in Al-Iraq, parts of Al-Iraq today. So they were ruling Al-Mosul. So in the year 317 the Shi'i rule, or the 12 Imam Shi'i rule, started to penetrate Al-Iraq in Al-Mosul. And it also reached through them all the way to Aleppo in Syria in the year 333, and that rule continued until the year 397. So we can see that the penetration of Shiism into Iraq and into Faris or into Iran started little by little, and it was not rampant in the very beginning, but it all started in the beginning of the 4th century. There was another tribe that in Iran that also has accepted Shiism, and that was Bani Boya, or Al-Buwayhiyun as we call them in Arabic, and that was in the year 334 all the way up to the year 447. And what was the danger with this family is that they have basically occupied the Khilafah, or they have occupied the Khilafah in Baghdad, but they left the Khalifa in Baghdad as is. They did not change him, so that it's kind of a cover-up for their presence. And that stayed there for until the year 447 of Hijrah. From the year 447 of Hijrah until the year 907, so for about 460 years after the year 447, there was no rule of the 12 Imam Shia in Iran. It was just basically a movement that existed, but they were not ruling. And the Safawis came in 907, and they established the Safawi rule from the 907 Hijrah to 1148 Hijrah. And these people were vicious in converting people into Shi'ism. They converted the people of Sunnah from Sunnism, from being Sunnah into becoming Shia. And from 1148 until the arrival of Khomeini in the year 1979 of the Christian era, there was no rule for the 12 Imam Shia. So the latest that they have ruled is basically when Khomeini came back into Iran in the year 1979, and that is when they started again to be in the position of rulership. Now, unfortunately, every time this group takes power, turmoil erupts in the Middle East, and basically the Middle Eastern community, they are a mixture of people from Sunni and Shi'i, and only when the Shi'i starts to be in power, then they start to compete with the people of Sunnah, and then that starts to divide the communities. People start to fight among themselves, and unfortunately we could see that happening today in Al-Iraq. And all of you know, and you can see with your own eyes, the number of people who are dying on a daily basis, the number of explosions that are taking place. Some of them happen in the Masajid of Sunnah, some of them happen in the Masajid of Shia. People of Sunnah die, people of Shia die, and so many people are just dying. So this fitna, or this unacceptance of both groups of each other, just leads to so much turmoil because people are dying on both sides of the aisle. Unfortunately, this presence now is being felt also in many Arab countries and many non-Arab countries. For example, in Afghanistan, you could see the presence, and you could see the impact that it's taken its toll on the Afghani community. You could see it happening in Egypt, and if you watch the latest news in Egypt, there's a lot of concern about distorting the coherence of the Egyptian community, because again, that's the plan is to lead into something that is similar to what is happening in Syria or what is happening in Iraq. So people have to be aware from both sides of the aisle that is not for the benefit of anybody. It's not for the safety of anybody. So we will go again to present some of the other Shia group that have erupted into the Islamic world at one point in time. So after the year 260, as I mentioned in some previous sessions, after the death of the 11th Imam Al-Hasan Al-Askari, there was kind of confusion. People did not know exactly what they want to do, and this is where multiple groups erupted. So there was the 12 Imam Shia, and there was also Al-Ismailis, and out of Al-Ismailis came Al-Qaramita. So these groups, you could see they had a lot of big impact in the Muslim world at that time. For example, the Ismaili Da'wah, actually it's in disagreement with the Ithna Ashari Shia. So both of them are Shia, but they are in disagreement. And also Al-Qaramita. So even though they both claim to be Shia, but they have certain differences in their belief. So we've gone, in detail in the belief of the 12 Imam Shia, but basically the Ismailis, they have a different belief. For example, the 12 Imam Shia believe in the Imama to be in the progeny of Musa al-Kadhim, the son of Ja'far al-Sadiq, while the Ismailis believe that al-Imama should be in the progeny of Ismail, the son of Ja'far al-Sadiq, and that's where that split took place. So the split took place from the children of Ja'far al-Sadiq. And how did al-Ismailiyya start? So according to the books of history, there was a person by the name Qaddah ibn Maymun who was known to be a Jew, and he befriended the son of Ismail, the son of Ja'far al-Sadiq, and whose name was Muhammad. And this man has a really strange idea. He named his son Abdullah, similar to the name of the son of Muhammad ibn Ismail. And he advised him that you should name your children similar to the children of the names of Muhammad ibn Ismail. So which means you parallel them. So every time they have a child, you call your name, you give your child a name similar to that child. And they kept doing that over like 4 or 5 generations. And the plan was, at one point in time, they will claim that they are the children of Ismail. And that's exactly what happened. So there was a point in time where they claimed that they are the children of Ismail, and they are the Imams, and the 12 Imam Shi'i are wrong, and they are the true Imams. And obviously, the Sunni for them is definitely wrong. So these people, the Ismailis, they have become very strong, and they have taken over the parts of North Africa, and they have taken over Egypt, they have taken over Syria, Lebanon, and even Al-Hijaz, even parts of Al-Hijaz. And then these people basically were able to conquer Egypt for about 200 years. They conquered Egypt for about 200 years. Now, what did they do throughout the conquer of Egypt? Obviously, the first thing was, they killed the ulama of Sunnah. They killed the scholars of the people of Sunnah and Jama'ah. And they started to, unfortunately, they share with the 12 Imam Shi'i the fact that they dislike Abu Bakr and Umar. So on the masajid in Egypt, they started to write swearing about Umar radiallahu anhu and about Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. And basically, they ruled the country very viciously, to the point that they thought of themselves as they are the Imams, and even more than the Imams, some of them started to think that they are the Lord himself, to the point that there was one of their leaders whose name was Al-Hakimu bi Amrillah. He claimed that he is the God. So it is to that point that these people, have started to basically lose their mind. So this person claimed that he is the Lord himself, and from that point on, the rule of Egypt and the rest of these Islamic country was in the hand of those of this group of Shia, the Ismailis, and they ruled Egypt from the year 359 all the way to the year 567, about 207 years, until Salahuddin, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, he was the one who came and he got rid of them from their rule of Egypt. At the same time, out of these Ismailis, another group came, and they used to be called Qaramita, after a person by the name Qurmut, or he used to call himself Qurmut. And these people kind of deviated from the Ismailis, but basically they also believe that the children of Ismail are the ones who are worthy of that imama. It's not the children of Musa al-Kadhim. And what these people did also, they were very vicious, and they were killing Muslims of the Sunni madhab left and right. And obviously they did have, their confrontations with the 12 Imam Shi'i, but their main enemy was really the people of Sunnah and Jama'ah. And these people also have established a state in Yemen for a certain period of time. Then after that, that state in Yemen was declined, and then they started another state in Al-Bahrain, or what is known today as the east of Saudi Arabia. And these people were very vicious, to the point that they attacked Al-Hujjaj, they attacked Al-Masjid Al-Haram. And in one year, I think it was the year 317 Hijrah, they attacked Al-Hujjaj in Mecca, and they killed so many of them, and they stole the black stone into their part of the world, into eastern Saudi Arabia. But eventually these people also kind of disappeared. So the main people who are in existence today in power among all these groups of Shia, basically the 12 Imam Shi'i of Iran, and obviously there are some parts of Lebanon, some parts of Iraq, and also the Nusayris of Syria, or the rule that is currently in Syria, who are called the Nusayriyun. They are a different part of Shia who consider Ali radiallahu anhu is their Lord. So there's, and obviously they dislike the people of Sunnah. So there's, you know, that connection of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali radiallahu anhu. So the bottom line is that, you know, all this extremism in the madhab has led to so much turmoil in the Islamic world. And I will just give you, for the people of Sunnah to know, like throughout the history, there was so many atrocities that was committed by these people, unfortunately, against the people of Sunnah. So as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أُقْصُصُ الْقَصَصَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, we really need to learn our history so that we understand what to do today. Because it's not good, you know, to really be naive and to be soft-hearted and kind-hearted, not knowing what is being planned for you. So in the history, it says that in the year 656, we all know of the invasion of Baghdad that was committed by the Tatar, or the Mughals who attacked the Islamic world. In the year 656, according to the books of history, it says there was a Shi'i minister who was under the hand, or under the service of Al-Musta'sim, the Khalifa of the Abbasi Khalifa in Baghdad. And this person, he invited basically the Mughals to attack Baghdad. So they said, the response from Holako to him at the time said, you know, there are too many armies in the lands of Baghdad, and if you are truthful about us, you know, coming into Baghdad, what we would like you to do is basically to help us eliminate these armies. So since he is the right arm of the Khalifa, what he suggested to the Khalifa that, you know, we have so much expenses these days, and what we need to do, we need to reduce the expenses of the state. And the Khalifa listened to him, and basically he said, we need to reduce the members of the army. So he was letting go like 20,000, 10,000, 15,000, you know, month after month, to the point that he dropped down the number of the protective personnel of Baghdad from 100,000 all the way down to 10,000. Now it was ready basically for the attack of the Mughals to come and to take over. So he informed the Mughals, and they did come over to Baghdad. And what he told the Khalifa, let me go talk to them to see what we can do. So he went and he talked to them. Obviously, you know, there was correspondence between them in the past. Unfortunately, you know, this history not too many of us know. That's why it is important for us really to know and dig into the history to find out. So he went and he talked to the Mughals, and he agreed with them that he should be given safety with his madhab, the people on his 12 Imam Shi'i madhab, while the people of Sunnah basically were given to Holako to do whatever he wants with them. And unfortunately, he advised the Khalifa, after he agreed with this person, he advised the Khalifa that they should go and meet with Holako, because Holako wanted to marry his daughter, so that was the plan, that Holako wanted to marry his daughter to the son of the Khalifa. And the Khalifa unfortunately swallowed the bait, and he went with about 700 of the top people that he has. And when they got to the camp of Holako, he killed most of them, stole their wealth, and only 17 people, including the Khalifa, were allowed to enter. But the rest of them, the 483 people, were eliminated on the spot. So that is one thing. Then obviously, as we know that what the history says, the Tatars invaded Baghdad, and they used to go with this person whose name was Ibn al-Alqami, and his deputy Nasiruddin al-Tusi, house to house, community to community, and attack the Muslims who are on the Sunni madhab. And it's the information that I have, it says that 1.8 million people from the Sunni madhab were eliminated at that time through this invasion of Baghdad. And we all know the news in the history books that so many massacres happened. So 1.8 million people died. Now, this person who was helping Ibn al-Alqami, his name was Nasiruddin al-Tusi. So on his hand, hundreds of thousands, over a million, 1.8 died. Now, what does Khomeini think of this person? So what Khomeini says about this person, it's a waste to lose a person like Nasiruddin al-Tusi. It's a waste to lose a person like him because he has given so much services to Islam. That is the view of Khomeini about the person who has led the invasion with Ibn al-Alqami and led to the killing of 1.8 million in Baghdad. So all we can say is La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But unfortunately, this is the history that we have, and everyone can go and look into the books of history on your own to understand or to realize the realities of these stories. We will take, inshallah, a short break, and then we will come back hopefully with our conclusion on the whole topic. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال الرسول يا رب إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا الله أكبر الله أكبر.
سرآغاز گفتار نام الله است که رحمتگر و مهربان خلق راست. الهی هر آن چیز قرآن فرستاده‌ای شفا است و رحمت که خود عطا فرموده‌ای. برادران و خواهران عزیز، السلام علیکم و رحمت الله و برکاته. خوشبخت هستیم که به لطف الهی امروز به معرفی کتاب قرآن کریم با ترجمه روان فارسی در خدمت شما هستیم. البته ترجمه ای کتاب هدایت توسط علمای مجمع علمی معلم تایید شده است و امیدوار هستم که از این گنجینه الهی و معجزه رسول الله صلی الله علیه وسلم استفاده عملی بفرمایید و ما را هم از دعایتان فراموش نکنین و من الله توفیق.
این قرآن مجید در یک جلد بوده و فهرست مضامین با آدرس آیات در اخیر این کتاب می باشد. برای دریافت آن با شماره تلفن 619 203 2903 و ایمیل آدرس mustafa@yahoo.com به تماس شوید.
قرآن و سنت ضامن خوشبختی دنیا و آخرت و حلقه اتصال وحدت و اخوت تمام مسلمین جهان می باشد.
Ah
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, it's a pleasure to see you again. We just came back from our break, and I just to state that this is really a pre-recorded program. So unfortunately, even though we have a number on the screen, if you call, we are not live. So this is just a presentation that has been pre-recorded, and the continuation of the topic that we have, as we were talking about, the differences between the Sunni and the 12 Imam Shi'i madhab. So the last thing I was sharing with you is some of the history. We were going briefly, very quickly through some of the history of some of the groups that also are labeled as Shia, but mainly the concentration of this presentation on the 12 Imam Shia, because as we know, they are in existence today in rulership, and that's why we can see the impact where again Syria seems to be like the place that you can see the biggest impact, and where really it shows how much hatred there is, especially the fact that we are losing 100-200 people every day. Syria is almost half destroyed, and we have about 5 million people who had to leave their homes because of what's going on. So we're trying to just bring some understanding into the understanding of people of Sunnah, why certain people are behaving the way they are, so that we understand, so that we can take proper action to defend the Muslim community, especially that there's a lot of turmoil that is taking place. So I will just briefly again, we don't really have too much time, but just briefly again mention a couple of the issues that has happened throughout the history. So the first thing that has happened, as I mentioned, was the invasion of Baghdad and the advice of Ibn al-Alqami, and how 1.8 million people have died there. The second issue that I will present is from the close history, which is in 1985. Unfortunately, in Lebanon, another massacre has taken place against the Palestinians in their camps, where hundreds and thousands were killed, were maimed, and were destroyed. Basically, some of the camps have been attacked by the groups in Lebanon, the existing, not the existing group, but what used to be called Amal in those days. Many people have been killed at the time. Basically, people were in the Palestinian camps. They were advised to not leave, and they were shelled for so many hours and so many days. For about a whole month, they were being shelled until so many of them have died. And also, according to the Sunday Telegraph in Beirut, it said that many people even were massacred in the hospitals, and they found many of the Palestinian bodies that were slaughtered just like cattle. That is what was reported in the Sunday Telegraph. And it is also a fact that in 1985, one of the shelters where many many Palestinian women, children, and elderly were hiding, that was shelled, and all these people unfortunately have died. So that is in the close history in 1985. Also, another attack that was performed by members of this group in the year 1409. There was an attack on Mecca al-Mukarramah, 1409 Hijri, an attack on Mecca al-Mukarramah by a group that called themselves at the time a part of Hezbollah in Kuwait. And we have a list of their names: Mansour, Al-Muhaymid, Ali, Kadhim, Abdul Aziz, Shams, and so on. So this has been reported, and unfortunately this group of people took some bombs and explosives, and they blew them up in the year 1409 in Makkah al-Mukarramah among the Hujjaj. So this extremism in one side or the other is really so bad. And also in the year 1414 in Iran, it was a day when there was a remembrance of the return of Khomeini to Iran. There was a masjid of people of Sunnah, a masjid in Iran. It was called Masjidu Fayd. It belonged to people of Sunnah, and it was basically surrounded by 15 bulldozers, and it was bulldozed down. people were not allowed to enter or remove, even the books, the Qur'ans, all of that. It was just bulldozed down to the ground. So from all of this, we can see that, there is something dangerous that could really happen to the people of Sunnah unless we really are aware, and unless we try to come to some understanding with the other people that this is inappropriate, and basically it's going to tear the Arab world, the Islamic world apart, and people are going to die needlessly from both sides. What brings me to this point is that there was a plan that was released by the Coalition of Sunnah in Iran. The Coalition of Sunnah in Iran released a plan that basically was supposed to be a secret plan that basically the revolution had. And I will just mention a few portions of that, and hopefully we can go to something constructive instead of just going through all of this information that really does not make anybody happy. But unfortunately, that's the reality of things, that sometimes it might be a bitter pill that we need to swallow, but this is life. We just really need to understand and see what's going on around us. So according to this, what's supposed to be the secret plan of the revolution, so it says that يجب أن نجعل تصدير الثورة على رأس الأولويات. So the plan says that that they have a big duty. نحمل واجبا خطيرا وثقيلا. So they believe that they have a big duty on their shoulder, and their duty is to export the Iranian revolution, to export that Iranian Islamic revolution to everywhere. And they say that we have put a 50-year plan. That 50-year plan is on 5 stages. Each stage is a 10-year plan. The purpose of which is لنقوم بتصدير الثورة الإسلامية إلى جميع الدول المجاورة ونوحد الإسلام أولا. So they plan to export the Iranian revolution to all the Islamic countries, starting with the neighboring country. And as we know, it's like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Iraq, and the Gulf countries. To export that revolution into those parts of the world, because they claim that they want to bring Islam together. But of course, it's their Islam, not the Islam that at least I believe in. So and they say, because the danger that they are facing from the Sunnah people is more and bigger than the danger that they see from the East or the West. From the East or the West. So in their plan, they state that the danger comes from the people of Sunnah. It does not come from the East or the West. لأن هؤلاء يناهضون حركة, because they claim that the people of Sunnah are against their movement, and they are the true enemies of ولاية الفقيه والأئمة المعصومين. So according to this plan, that they are the true enemies of ولاية الفقيه and the imams. Now, I hope somebody can prove to us that this is not true, but this is what has leaked out through the coalition of the Sunnah in Iran. So basically, we come to a point where things are really in a bad shape. The way the people of these groups are moving forward, we can see the results. We can see the results in Syria, in Iraq, and so on. So there's a big issue that is taking place. So we need to speak to the people of the 12 Imam Shia. We need to speak in a rational way. What is the benefit of all of this? What is the benefit of trying to push people away from Iraq? What is the benefit of trying to push people away from Syria? What is the benefit of trying to force your faith, what you believe in, onto the people of Sunnah? Just like what happened at the time of the Safawis. It is best that if people can coexist, lakum dinukum waliya din, if that is what you believe in, and this is what the people of Sunnah believe in, it is best that each person, just keep their understanding. There is no value for us to tear each other apart. Nobody benefits. And I would just like to share with you some of the questions that I would like to pose to the people who would like to think rationally. If you are an extremist who do not want to think, then there's nothing really we can do. But if you would like to use your intellect, and you would like to discuss the issues that basically the people of Sunnah and the people of Shia differ on, let's do that. The first thing, I would like to basically state some facts from history about Ali radiallahu anhu, and about the different views basically that some people have. First of all, if we look at at Ali radiallahu anhu, we know that in Al-Kafi, in your book Al-Kafi, Kulaini states that Imam Ali radiallahu anhu has married his own daughter, Kulthum, the daughter of Imam Ali radiallahu anhu, the sister of Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein. Ali radiallahu anhu got her married to Umar ibn al-Khattab. And this is in your books. This is what Kulaini states. And obviously you could see there, I listened to some of the 12 Imam Shia. They say that there are so many things in opposition in Al-Kulaini. Like, he says one thing and then he says the opposite. But again, that's what you have. So, and Al-Kulaini states in Al-Kafi that Imam Ali radiallahu anhu married his own daughter, Kulthum, the sister of Hassan and Hussein radiallahu anhuma. He married her to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. So how could this happen? So why would Imam Ali radiallahu anhu marry his own daughter to Umar ibn al-Khattab if Umar ibn al-Khattab, as you state today, is a kafir or a non-believer? Then there's an issue. So we have one of two things. It's either that Ali radiallahu anhu is not ma'soom because he married his own daughter to somebody that is considered to be a kafir, or it's the other way, which the people of Sunnah believe in, that Ali radiallahu anhu believes that Umar radiallahu anhu is the second Khalifa, and he radiallahu anhu accepted him as the husband of his own daughter. So if Ali radiallahu anhu accepted Umar radiallahu anhu as the husband of Kulthum, his own daughter, how could somebody claim that Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu is a kafir? You need to answer that question for your own self, because we basically believe what Ali radiallahu anhu believes. We, the people of Sunnah, believe what Ali radiallahu anhu believes. He believes that Umar ibn al-Khattab is a good Muslim. As a matter of fact, he is the second best Muslim after Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and that's why he married him his own daughter. So that's one thing. So you need to answer the question: why did Ali radiallahu anhu marry his own daughter Kulthum to Umar ibn al-Khattab? And again, that is stated in Al-Kulaini in his book Al-Kafi. The second issue that I would like to bring to your attention, and I hope that we all can agree on these things, we find that Ali radiallahu anhu, he gave bay'ah to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu and to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. So he was under their rule. So Ali radiallahu anhu accepted Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and accepted Umar and was one of their followers. They were the Khalifas and he was one of the Ra'iyya. So Imam Al-Hussein radiallahu anhu and Al-Hasan radiallahu anhu, they also accepted those facts. So what we are saying is that we are the people of Sunnah. We believe exactly what Ali radiallahu anhu and his children believed in. And they gave bay'ah to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and to Umar radiallahu anhu. So how could somebody come today who claims that they are the followers of Ali radiallahu anhu not accept the actions of Ali radiallahu anhu? So the action of Ali radiallahu anhu was to give bay'ah to Abu Bakr and to give bay'ah to Umar. And in one hadith he said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam accepted Abu Bakr as-Siddiq to be the imam on the prayer. So I accepted him for my deen and for my dunya. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam accepted Abu Bakr for my deen and I accept him for my dunya. So that's the other thing. So again, the people of Sunnah believe exactly what Ali believes in, which is in opposition to what the 12 Imam Shia claim. Another issue I would like to bring to your attention is that we know that Ali radiallahu anhu tazawwaj, got married after Fatima radiallahu anha. He got married after she passed away. And he named his own children by the names of Uthman, Abu Bakr and Umar. And again, this is stated in your own books. So we know that some of the children of Ali himself radiallahu anhu were Uthman ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, and there was also Abu Bakr ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, and there was also Umar ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. So Ali radiallahu anhu, and this is again stated in your book كشف الغمة في معرفة الأئمة لعلي الأربلي. So Ali al-Arbali wrote his book, and this is one of your references, and he says in the book that Ali radiallahu anhu had a son by the name Uthman, a son by the name Abu Bakr, and a son by the name Umar. So why would Ali ibn Abi Talib, if what the 12 Imam Shia claim today is true, why would Ali radiallahu anhu call his own children by the names of the ones who have oppressed him? Does that make any sense? And again, this is a question that we are presenting to our brothers from the 12 Imam Shi'i madhab to think, is the current claim true or is it not? So we again, the people of Sunnah believe and follow Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, and we name our children with Umar and Abu Bakr and Ali. As a matter of fact, our books say that Ali ibn Abi Talib was the first man among Quraysh, especially after Islam, to name his own children with these names. So he started a new Sunnah by naming his own children by the names of Umar and Abu Bakr and Uthman. So can you please answer those questions? And also, he had a daughter by the name Ramlatul Kubra bint Ali ibn Abi Talib. And we know that Ramla is the sister of Muawiyah, the son of Abu Sufyan. So if the current claims are true, why would Ali radiallahu anhu name his own daughter Ramla by the name of the daughter of Abu Sufyan? Because as we believe, the people of Sunnah, there's really no conflict among these people. They all worked with each other. Definitely they had some political conflicts, but nobody believed that the other person is a kafir or a non-believer. So we, the people of Sunnah, follow the footsteps of Ali radiallahu anhu, and we name our children according to what he did. Another issue that I would like to present to you, in Kitab Nahj al-Balagha, and you're all aware of Kitab Nahj al-Balagha, that Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, when they came to ask him to be the Khalifa, he said, Da'uni waltamisu ghayri. So Ali ibn Abi Talib, when he was asked to become the Khalifa, he said, find somebody else, go find somebody else. So if Ali radiallahu anhu is, as the claim goes, that he is al-Imam al-Ma'soom, then the first duty that he has, according to your faith, is that he will be the first Imam, and this is the greatest rukun that you have, to be the Imam. So how could he say, find somebody else? Can you please try to find an answer for that question? So these are the issues that we and you would like to come to a closure on, because we believe that we, the people of Sunnah, are the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. We believe that he is the fourth Khalifa, and we believe that he loved Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman, and that's why he named his children after them. And also Al-Hasan ibn Ali radiallahu anhu, Al-Imam Al-Hasan ibn Ali, he also named his children Abu Bakr and Umar. So again, Al-Hasan ibn Ali called his own children Abu Bakr and Umar. And this is also in your book Jala' al-Uyun lil-Majlisi. You can go find it. And also in your book Muntaha al-Amal, in the first book, page 240. So we could see from all of this that the belief of the Sunnah is really supported in the books of Shia. Now, whatever has been added around it, because these are things that cannot be changed. These are things that cannot be changed. Another issue that I would like to bring, and this will be the last one here that I would like to present to your attention. In Al-Kulayni, again, Al-Kulayni says in his book Usul al-Kafi, Of course, the claim is that Al-Imam or the A'imma, the claim is that they know when they will die, and that they do not die except if they wish to, except that if they accept to die. So that is one of the claims, as we have discussed earlier. So according to Al-Kulayni, that the Imams do not die except with their knowledge, they know when they will die, and they do not die except if they wish. Then in Al-Kafi, or in Al-Majlisi says in Bihar al-Anwar, لم يكن إمام إلا مات مقتولا أو مسموما. And then it is stated that all these Imams have died either by being killed or by being poisoned. So this is a problematic issue. So if the Imams know when they will die, and they do not die if they wish, how could they have been killed or poisoned? Shouldn't they have known? So we are just putting these questions for you from your own books to just realize that the people of Sunnah and Jama'ah really believe, or the belief of the people of Sunnah and Jama'ah is supported even in the books of Shia. So our goal is for you to come and to realize that we should be all trying to seek the truth, and if you want to seek the truth, you will find it. And you can go actually to YouTube, and you could check on how many Shia scholars have accepted Islam. And I will just leave you with this. I personally go there and I try to find out, and there are many scholars who have accepted Islam. They have become Sunnis themselves, and you can go and you can find out for yourself. I hope this was enlightening for the people of Sunnah, and also enlightening for the people of the 12 Imam Shia, because again the goal is really to bring us to a common understanding where we all can live and coexist in peace and harmony. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.